Okay, so this is how Filemaker loads up. I have it in a calendar view. If I move to a item, it will populate the item. When I get to the screen, I can perform functions like send a notice, report a payment, go to the invoice that the subscription was generated from. Send a notice is going to pull up my email client and allow me to send that email out. It's got the client's email address and all the pertinent information. Back to calendar. If I go to my recent contacts, I'll get a list of all of the people that I've been dealing with, this week or within the past few weeks. But usually I'll start with the campaign field, where I'll put in information. Like in this instance, we'll start a new record here, and I'll get my titles in. And let's say I've got a new client, DonaldDuck.com, and it's DDINC, first name Donald, last name Duck, and his address 1234 Pond Drive. His phone number, his email, DDDucky12. Donald Duck was taken, obviously, and then result, that we leave that blank. So I've got a client called in, or I got an email and I got this information from them. So what do I do next? I'm going to go in here and paste my URLs. It's going to give me the URL. I'm going to grab the fields. It's going to put in all of the fields. Callback or no sale. This is really pertaining to me doing outbound calls and wanting to plug in the result there. But in this case, I've got a new client, so I'm going to go ahead and create contact. It's going to search first to make sure that I'm not creating a contact that already exists. So it's done its search through the email, and it looked for the duplicate, and since there was no duplicate in there, then it's going ahead, and I'm going to go ahead and continue. So it's created that client. It's separated the first name from the last name. It's got the email in there and all the information that I put in. I can send an initial notice to that client to get the rest of the information, or if I got them on the phone, I can just fill it in here. What I would do in this case is start a new project, and I'm going to create a folder called DDINC on my desktop. I can put a description in of what the client needs. DDINC is a business in need of whatever, and I can add products. This is a list of all my products. Donald needs a 3D logo, and we're going to schedule that for next week. And he also needs a simple dynamic site, and we'll schedule that for later on in the week. If I want to send Donald Duck a proposal, I hit that. It's gonna give me an opportunity to make sure that my text is all correct before I send out my description, and it's going to go and grab all of the information from my products, pull it up, compile it into a PDF, save it onto my desktop, and then activate my email client to send that off to Donald Ducky. And we're not going to send it, obviously, because he's fake. But yeah, the PDF here, I've precompiled the layout, and so the information is unique. This overview here was just created. The breakdown was in there, about us was in there, the product image, the phases that pertain to it, for each product that I have, and I give a little overview on what the cost is. So designing a layout and then dynamically, affecting it is what's happening here. We're saving, if a person was doing this, it would take them a few hours, each client, and this is happening in a matter of minutes, because we're actually controlling our PC, programming our PC, and making it do the things that we want it to do. So here, let me I'll go back to the project there because we canceled that process, so it didn't go through correctly. Um, but these are the some of the inner functions here. Each product has tasks, and for each of those tasks there are procedures, and there's an okay, sorry, the video keeps cutting out every time I change a window, so I'm just going to keep it here in maximize mode. So this database is compiled for me. Obviously, I'm a web designer. I have a bunch of products, and they all have different you know data that I require, options that people can choose from, things of that nature. So there's a database for that, and then there's a database for my clients, and so I've got to merge them together. Here you get to look at the database and the structure of the database. It's going to display this. This is the fields. This is the tables. Not a whole lot to look at, but this here will give you a better idea of what's going on. This is the structure, and I know it may look crazy, but there's really only a few things going on here. There's databases that are created to hold information, and then it's being connected to, for functionality purposes, to other databases. So we've got a database here, the red ones. They're my contacts. The green one here is the invoice. The tasks are blue, but they are really just copies of the products, which are gray. So when the way that the database works is that you create a client or contact, and you tie a product to them, which makes it a task. And so that task has procedures that it can pull from the product and tie them to a date and put them on the calendar. So, when you say, how does a company like Uber run? Well, they run with an administrator controlling something like this, where your information, your clients, your contractors and their skills and their contact information is all, compiled into one neat relational database like this, which, has rules and functions and holds the information in a certain way, so that you can perform functions that would normally take hours in just a few minutes. This phase is here. This info is automatically set to grab the current date and time and account name and write a sentence based on that. So those are the ins and outs of how this whole thing works. And you're able to export into an Excel sheet and upload and create newsletters very easily, because you've got first names separated from last names, and you can say, hey John, we got a new special. We saw that you ordered this back in October. It wouldn't be possible to do that any other way without some sort of software like this. So that's the whole purpose of a custom CRM, is to have things work in the way that you need them to work, displaying the things that you need to be displayed, and performing the functions that you need to be that you need performed. So you go over to an invoice and you can email it. It's automatically compiling, grabbing things that you need. You can create updates and generate text files onto your desktop. Shouldn't have showed that screen. I'll have to edit that out. So yeah, a lot of functions here. That's the whole point.